Okay. Okay. So in the last class, we have learned about the classes and objects and few terminologies present in the OOPS concept, right? We'll just revise them because yeah. So if you forget the concepts and all, then it becomes very difficult for us to move further. Okay. Right. I'll just start with the basics again. So in order to start any class, so we give the keyword word class followed by the class name, and the class name can be anything, whatever you want, you can give it, right? Yeah, whatever we need, we can give the class name. Okay, so after the class name, so we have different methods present inside the class name. Like if you want to like create methods inside the class and all, no? Simply you give the def keyword and followed by the method name. So the functions which are present inside a class are called as methods. Okay, so we have seen about the constructor, the init, so the initialization of the data members. Yeah, so we have seen it, right? So before using this, now what we have done is we have like added our own data members. Sorry, yeah, for each and every instance, we have added our own data members, and that's way become that is becoming way manual for us, right? So that's why we have initialized a method, and the name of that method is called init method. So after that, we are passing the instance into that method. So in the class now, if you need to pass the instance into all the methods, because if you want to understand which instance the class is using, right? So for that, we need to pass an instance, and we are passing the instance with the help of a keyword called self, right? So we are passing the instance with the help of a keyword called self, and self comma followed by the parameters in the init method is given. So parameters can be n number of parameters. Actually, you can give n number of parameters. It's up to us. Like since we are creating the class, so we know the requirement. So by looking at the requirement and all, we create that many number of parameters which are required and necessary. Okay, after creation of the parameters, we assign each, I mean the data members, whatever you're sending it into the class with this one. So you are sending the data members into the class, right? So you need to save the data for that particular instance, right? So for that, we use this kind of syntax, like self dot first name, that is emp1 dot first name, emp1 dot last name, emp1 dot phone. So we are creating an instance of the class with the name emp1, and we are storing the entire data with the name emp1. Clear? So if you want to access emp1, I mean, like if you want to like check the data of the emp1 and all, so we follow the dot notation to access the information from emp1. So till here we have seen it, right? So after after creation of the init function and all, we can create a number of methods as well. I told you, like we can create a number of methods inside a class. So here I have created a class, the name, we have created a function. Sorry, we have created a method here inside the class, that is the name, and when we call this name method, so automatically it should like concatenate the first name and last name, and it should give me the output. So that's the syntax what we are expecting, right? I mean, that's the output what we are expecting, and we have written some syntax for it. Okay, and into this method we have sent the instance into it. As I already told you, if you're not sending the instance here, definitely it will throw you an error saying zero positional arguments given. Like zero positional arguments were there, but you're given one positional argument there. So please like send the instance into that method. So that kind of error you will come across in Python. Okay, so now what I will do is, so I'll pass the instance into that method as well by sending the self keyword into that method as a parameter. See, this is a parameter. I'm sending the instance as a parameter into that method, and automatically whatever the items you want to access for that particular instance, you can access the items into that method. Getting it right? So you can access the items of that particular instance in the method, and you can perform some operations. Okay, so that's how we have created a class, we have created a constructor, we have created a different method, and in order to call the methods from the class, so we use this kind of syntax: instance name followed by the method name and then parenthesis. So this is one way where you can call the method which is present inside a class. So this is another approach to call a method. Okay, so to call a method, the first we give the class name followed by dot and then followed by the method name and parenthesis of the instance name. So automatically that particular method will be called. So it's up to you. You can use any kind of syntax you want. It's up to you. Like you can use any syntax. Okay, so till here we have just created a class. So we understood the importance of the constructor, right? So we understood the importance of the constructor, why we need constructors and all, and we have created different methods inside the uh, class. For example, if I want to create another method, simply I'll type def and okay, let's give like what do we do? What do we what could be the function we can give here? Like anything. Like, well, suppose if I want to like get the mail ID, first name and last name. Okay, so I'll just simply, if I want to get all the details, I'll just simply all the details of the of that particular instance. So simply I'll print the same thing. See, I'll copy it here. This method is used to create the first name and last name combines and gives it to you. And here, if I want, okay, let us print a dictionary. That would be good, right? Yeah. If I want first name self dot first name, right? If I want last name, I mean all the details of that particular instance, self dot last name, and then phone self dot phone, and then salary self dot salary, and the last one is email. So now I'm creating a method which returns all the details of that particular instance in the form of a dictionary. I mean, we are just printing it out. We are not returning the statements, but yeah, we're just printing it out. Self dot email. Okay, self dot email. Okay, sorry, I'll give one parenthesis. The parentheses are not required. And if we see, what is this error? We've got last names, we've got phone, dictionary. Okay. I'll store this in a variable so that I can view it properly. Details. Yeah. Okay. So what could be the error?
So after phone, you have kept comma phone.
Okay, after the phone I've kept the comma. Let me check. Oh, okay. Good one. Yeah. Okay. So now if I want to call this method, okay, first we'll execute this entire class. Yeah, we executed it. And yeah, so I'm creating an instance for the class emp1 and I'm creating another instance for the class emp2. So after some long time or something, like if you want to get the data of the instance of emp1, so the details, the user details, everything. So emp1 dot, I'll call the user details method. Okay, so if I print it, see, I got the entire emp1's details in the form of a dictionary. See, and this dictionary can be used anywhere. Like if you want to display this dictionary like in the front end in the form of a table, you take this entire dictionary into the front end and then you display that in the form of a table. It's up to us. You can use this in many ways actually. Okay, so I'm just simply like whenever you want some details of a particular instance, you just call this method now. So after calling this method, I'll get all the details and it fetches all the details of that particular instance and it throws it in the form of a dictionary and it prints out the details. That's it. So that's how you can create methods inside a class. So not only like 2 or 3 methods, you can create n number of methods. You can go with n number of methods also. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we'll check. Yeah, the next the topic is about class variables. Okay, we have seen about instance variables, right? Instance variables. So these are called as instance variables, right? So these are all called as instance variables. So because for that particular instance, we are creating the variables and we are storing it in some kind of location, memory allocation is done automatically. So these are called as instance variables. Then what are class variables now? Okay, let us see. So class variables are variables that are shared among all instances of a class. Okay, that are shared among all the instances of a class without any without giving any self kind of keyword or something to the class and all. Directly you can share to all the instances of the class. Like you can use it as a global variable. You can think as a global variable, but inside a class, I'm telling you, only inside the class. You can access each. You can access. I mean, you can share the class variable among all the instances of the classes. Okay, so overview. So we use a special class variable outside all functions. So outside all functions, that means outside of all the functions. So suppose outside of all the functions, I'm using a class variable. Okay, so let us create a class variable. So where it gives a hike to that particular employee. Okay, where it gives a hike to that particular employee. For example, okay, like I'll take a variable hike. I'll give 2%. 2% is the hike for all the employees, which is fixed in my organization. Okay, let us consider that. So this is now a class variable. Okay, so class variables can be shared among all the instances of the classes. Class variables can be shared among all the methods inside the class. Okay, so now I'll execute this. And if you want to access the class variable outside of the class, okay, the syntax is you give the class name and then followed by the variable hike, the variable whatever you have. If I execute this, see, the answer is 2. So like if you want to access, again I'm telling you, if you want to access the class variable outside the class, this is the syntax. Okay, like you need to give the class name followed by dot and then followed by the class variable name which you have given inside the class. Okay, yeah. So we use a special class variable outside all functions. So we can manually print the statement by not using the class variable, but that would be a flaw. So if every time we require that value, we type it manually. That's what we are doing, right? Employee.hike and all. So by the definition, class variable are accessed throughout the program. We can access a class variable inside a function by calling an instance of the class for the class variable, or by calling the class name for the class variable. Yeah, that's what. Like you can directly call the instance, and you can suppose for example, let us create a method. Okay, let us create a method. Apply raise. So I use self. Okay, what I'll do is I'll return self dot salary into self dot hike. Let us see what will happen. Okay, so I'll execute this program now. Okay, hike. I have executed the program. Okay, I've executed the program. Now what I'll do is like I'll create an instance for EMP1. Yeah, done. And the salary for EMP1 is 15,000. We're given 15,000 here. And suppose EMP1 salary, EMP1, I'll give a variable hike kind of equals to, so EMP1 dot apply. Right. Okay, yeah. So now see EMP1 hike, can you see the value? It's 30,000. That means inside the class, if you want to use the class variable, I mean inside the method, so inside a class and inside a method, if you want to use the class variable inside a method, then you can use self.hike. It's up to you. You can use self.hike directly. Okay, if you don't want to use this, you can use this also, as we have already seen, the class name followed by hike. Okay, I'll execute the program again, and again I'm creating an instance for the class, and then again I'm calling the uh, method, I mean the method apply raise method. See, still the output is 30,000. So it's up to you. You can use anything you want. Like inside the class, if you want to share the class variable, you can directly use self keyword. Like outside the class, if you want the class variable to be there, then you go for the class name and then followed by the class variable name. If you want to use this inside the method also, you can use it. It's up to you. Okay, good. Yeah, so we're good, I guess. That's what the statement is. See, we can access a class variable inside a function by calling an instance of the class for the class variable. See, by calling an instance, there is self. So whenever you're looking, whenever you come across this instance in the PPTs, no, think about self in the sense emp1, emp2, emp3, emp4 will get stored. All the instances will be stored in the keyword self. Okay, or by calling the class name for the class variable. Directly you can call the class name, that is employee.hike. In that way also you can access the class variable inside a function. Okay, are we clear, guys? Yeah, see.
Yes.
Okay, see, class employee. So here I have given from raise amount, same thing, like whatever we are saying in the example. So raise amount I have given 1.08 and followed by our init constructor, and then a method apply raise, which I have given there. See, self.pay, self.raise amount. Okay, so now I'm storing it inside a variable. I'm returning the output. That's fine. What if, like, if you want to change the salary directly, salary of that particular instance, the self.salary variable, it is already stored in the form of an object in some memory, right? Self.salary is 15,000. As for example, see, I have stored this emp1 hike in emp1. I mean, I have stored this supply raise method in a emp1 hike variable. So that's why it is showing me 30,000. What happens? emp1 dot salary. If I print it, see, still the salary is 15,000 only. That means we haven't updated it. I mean, we have just created a method, and that method is showing us after getting the hike, this is the actual amount for emp1, but that is not updated in the memory, right? In the memory. So how to update it? Okay. In order to update it, what I'll do is I'll use self.pay. That means emp1.pay. We are overwriting the data. Do you remember last time? See, emp1.email. With this example, now we have overwritten the data of the email. In the same way, in order to self.salary, sorry, not pay, salary. Not to overwrite it, I'll just use this. Okay. Okay. I'll just take return. If you want something to be stored inside a variable, use return statement. If you don't want anything, like I want only the logic to run, then leave the return statement. Just use the print statements so that you'll understand that the method has done its job and all. That's it. Okay. Now my main intention for this is self.salary equal to self.salary into employee.hike. I mean, that means I'm updating the salary. I'm overwriting the salary with the previous salary is 15,000. I'm overwriting it with the updated hike amount. Now what I'll do is print the salary after hike is self.salary. Okay, now let us see. Okay, now I'll execute this entire program. Execute the class. I'll create an instance for the class with the name emp1, and I will no need to store this in a variable now. I'll apply raise. I'll call the method apply raise, which gives hike for that particular instance. Okay, the salary after hike is 30,000. Pretty good, right? Now the self.salary has been updated, has been overwritten with the new salary after the hike. Now if I call emp1.salary, see, the salary is updated now. Previously it was not updated in the memory, but now it is updated. Okay, so that's how you can overwrite the things and update things. In the same way for emp2, I have created an instance with the name emp2 for the class employee, and if I want to apply EMP to raise amount, So what is the salary for EMP2? It's 25,000, right? If I apply raise amount, and if I check the salary of the EMP2, let us see. So the salary after hike is 50,000. Now the employee 2, yeah, we have updated the salary for employee 2, and the latest updated salary for employee 2 is 50,000. Yeah, is this clear, guys? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. I'll explain you once more, because these are very important actually. Are we good? Hello.
Sir,
Yeah.
hike will be used inside and outside the class, sir. What its main difference, sir?
See, yeah. So the difference is nothing actually. So it's a variable. You're storing some value to a variable. That's it. So if you want to call that, access that variable outside the class, then we'll use this syntax. There's no particular difference. That's the same. It's just a variable. So, but calling it, it's very different in the OOPS concept. So the syntax you need to understand. That's it. Clear? Was
Okay,
that your
sir.
doubt? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyone has any doubts, or can we move further? Good. Okay. So now we have created a method, which is good. Yeah. Checking raise amount. See, employee.raise amount. See, that's how you check the raise amount, right? Employee.raise amount and EMP1.raise amount. Okay. So as I told you, like hike can be like you can call the hike by using the class name and followed by hike. So once the instance is created, EMP1, you just EMP1.hike if you give it now, or that also gives you the value of the hike. If you're not creating any instance, at that time you need to create, you need to call with the class name. Okay. Okay. When you're creating an instance or something, if the raise amount is changing dynamically, are you getting my point? So hike varies from person to person, right? Here we have given a static number there, 2, but hike varies from person to person based upon the performance. Like suppose EMP1 might have performed very well and he got 5% hike, and EMP2 has not done his job that great, so he got a hike of only 1%. So that means hike number is also varying, right? So we need to change this hike in a dynamic way, so that whenever you call that EMP1 instance dot hike, it shows us what hike exactly that instance has got. Okay, what hike exactly that instance has got. Okay, that's what both are same. In order to check all the employee details, we use emp1.dict. Okay, so there's a special syntax, in order to check all the employee details directly. I'll use emp1.dict. Okay, if I use it, see, it's already all the details are coming up in the form of a dictionary. But yeah, so this method gives you this only, right? We have created already user details. The same thing, if you want all the details to be come up, simply use the dictionary keyword. I mean the method there, automatically every detail of that particular instance will be converted into a dictionary, and it will throw you as an output. I mean the output is thrown in the form of a dictionary. Clear? Yeah. So okay, now check employee.dict. So we'll see employee.dict. I mean the class name. With the class name, if I'm applying the IC key, employee dot, oh sorry, I already give one, 2 underscores and C. So there's a huge difference between the class dict and the instance dict, right? See, so the class dict is clearly mentioning what are the things are there present inside that particular class. I mean, what are the variables are present, what are the methods are present, everything will be shown in a neat way. See, everything. Okay, so emp1.dict will give you the details of all the I mean the values, whatever you have now as a data member for that particular instance, it gives you that. But the class, if you use the class with the dict, it shows you what is happening exactly inside the class. Okay, let us see mapping proxy, what it is mapping. So module main in main function. So it's a main, like if you call the class, it becomes automatically the main. I'll show you this main, how it is done in the functions and all, then you'll understand. So hike is a variable again. So init function main employee init. So init is a function, and what are the parameters present in the init is shown here. Okay, and after that the methods followed by methods, user details. So apply raise is a function again, function. Okay, and dict of employee. So these are by default. By default, these all will be there. These three, the dict, of employee, weak ref of the employee, and doc. There is always that is the default as an unknown. It will show you, but you need to clearly understand. Like suppose if a developer has created a class and he has given you the file, then it's very difficult for us like to go to each and every line, right? At the time, if you type employee.dict, at least you'll have a summary here. I mean, this is the function and these are the parameters he has used and so on, like directly. If the class is too much complex and all, you can directly use this employee.dict and it will show you at least the summary of the entire class. Clear? Yeah. So if I want to change my hike, simply employee.hike equals to 5. See? Okay. So if I call employee.hike, it is changed to 5. See, we can overwrite the data as well. Again, we can overwrite the data of the class variables. We can update the class variables as well. But as I told you, like what happens if a person has performed very well and he needs to get appreciated with good hike. Okay, so after review and all, now we need to give a good hike to the particular person. So at the time, what I will do is, so hike 2 is a default hike. I'll add extra parameter called hike here. Okay, employee dot hike equals to hike. You can give in this way also, but see, so we are talking about the instance, right? So we'll go with the instance now. Self dot hike. Okay, I'll change this hike to some raise because already we have used hike as a raise amount. Already use hike as a class variable, we'll get confused, so I'll use this. So self dot hike is equals to rise amount, right? So hike we are changing it by using the instance. No? Whatever the instance you are sending the hike amount and all, it changes accordingly. Okay, so now emp1 or taken all the instances out. Sorry, yeah. Okay, we'll type it. Employee, so Rajesh, and okay, phone, and then salary 15,000. Price amount, yeah. See, I'm giving 5 here. 5 means he has performed very well. So I'm from my side, I'm giving a hike of 5% to emp1. Okay, let us see. First, we'll execute the class. Good. We'll execute the class, and then emp1 equal to employee. Yeah. So we are done. And now what I will do is I'll call the apply raise method. emp1 dot apply raise. Good. Yeah, so the hike has changed to 30,000, and if I want emp1 dot hike, let me check the number. It's 5. Okay, if I take another instance, emp2, and I want only 1%, 2% of hike should be given to emp1. Okay. So now I'll apply this method. First I'll execute the instance. and then followed by raise emp2, and now I'll check what is the hike percent of the emp2 has. It's 2. See, so emp1 now it's dynamically changing, right? So if I check emp2 salary, the basic salary for emp2 is 25,000. P2 dot salary. Okay, it's 15,000 only I've given. Sorry, yeah, it's 15. 15 into is 30,000, right? Yeah, so 30,000. Okay, so as we can see, yeah, as we can see, you can increase the hike number or dynamically, or you can change the class variable at any time you want. You can change the class variable. You can use the class variable outside the class, or you can manipulate the class variable from outside the class only, or from inside the class also you can manipulate the class variable, and you can pass that class variable through all the instances of the class, like to any method. To any method you can pass that class variable, and you play with the class variable. I mean, we can do anything with the class variable. Okay, so class variables are something where that can be shared among all the instances of the classes. Yeah, so okay, your homework for today is, see, use the raise amount for emp1 and check. We have checked it. Okay, so whenever you're creating one instance, so this is, you're creating one instance, and it should store as one employee, some variable. So whenever you're creating another instance, 3 instances, 4 instances, 5 instances, like you have created emp1, emp2, emp3, emp4, and emp5. So create a method. The method name should be a number of employees. When we call that method, I need to have how many employees are present for that particular class. Like if you are creating 5 instances, the number should be 5. Is that clear? Are we clear with the homework?
Sir, once repeat, sir.
Okay, listen properly. See, so we are creating instances for the class. emp1 is one instance, emp2 one is instance, emp3 is one instance. I need you guys to create a method inside a class with the name number of employees. With the name number of employees. And when I call that method, it should return me how many instances are there for that particular class. That means, since we are talking about employees, so it should return how many employees are there in the organization. Like emp1 is one employee, emp2 is one employee, 3, 4, 5. So that's a total of 5 employees. If you count all 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, it becomes 5. So how many instances you create now? If I call the method number of employees, it should return me how many instances are there for that particular class. Is that clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so try to do it. Okay, so that's how
Sir,
yeah, yeah.
sir, how many instance means can you tell, sir? How
Okay,
it's
see, emp1 is one instance, right? emp2 is one instance. So if I am executing one instance for that particular class, and if I am like calling the number of employees method, it should return me the employee count as 1. So if I am creating another instance, so already we have one instance available in the class. So if you're creating another instance, emp2, so when I call the number of employees method, it should return me the value 2. Clear? Is that clear now?
yes, sir. Sir, for 5 instance, we need to write those 5 details, sir. Employee 1, employee 2, employee 3, and 4, 5.
Yeah, employee 1, employee 2, employee 3, employee 4, and employee 5. You need to create the instances, and after creation of your instances, no, then if you call the method, or number of employees, whatever logic you want to write down inside that method, you need to write it down. If once I call the method, no, automatically it should return there are 5 instances of the class available. Okay,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
okay, good. Yeah, so that's how you create the class variables. Okay, so that's the topic of class variables. And we'll check. This thing is not right now. Okay, so regular methods and class methods. So we are done with our what do we call this normal methods, regular methods, and now we have class methods as well. So we have created normal methods, and we can have these class methods as well. Okay, so regular methods are methods where instances are automatically applied with the keyword self. Okay, so regular methods are methods where you can use it directly with the help of the keyword self. Like you provide that self keyword, it automatically sends you the data of that particular instance, and you can play with the data, right? Yeah. So class methods are something where we can add CLS variable instead of self. We give class as the first argument. Okay, see. So instead of self now, we are going to use a different variable called CLS. Called CLS. Okay, and with the help of the CLS, we are going to create class methods. Okay, we are going to create class methods definitely. Yeah, with the help of CLS. So think this. So class methods are a little bit different than the regular methods. I'll tell you. I'll show you a practical example so that you'll have a clear understanding about it. Okay. Wait a minute, guys. I'm getting a call. I'll be back. Okay. Okay. Yeah, guys. So I got a call. So I need to attend another meeting now. I guess I'll end the class for today. Okay. So complete the homework and understand more about the class variables. Okay.